Hart had already handed over all the money he had on him to the robber. But the other party, because of a worthless engagement ring, accidentally discharged his gun and killed his fiancée. Seeing that he had caused a death, the robber panicked and fled, leaving Hart frozen in place. He watched in despair as his beloved fell, letting her body temperature fade away along with that cold silver ring into the night. After that accident, Hart appeared unusually calm. He did not call the police, nor did he seek revenge. Instead, he shut himself in his laboratory day after day, burying himself in calculating mathematical equations. The butler called him to eat, but he ignored it. When good friends came to visit, he would only fluster and make excuses to brush them off. This unusual behavior instead aroused his friend's suspicion. Just as a friend was about to notice the secret hidden behind the curtain, Hart grew anxious. The friend had no choice but to say he would come back next week. After the friend left, the curtain slowly fell, revealing the time machine Hart had developed in its entirety. It had an all-metal body, with copper pipes winding around it. He gazed at this machine into which he had poured all his heart and soul, and for a moment he could not tell if it was reality or a dream. But at the thought of being able to go back in time and save his girlfriend, he hesitated no more and resolutely pushed down the start lever. However, things were far more complicated than he had anticipated. When the machine reached its peak operation, the front and rear wheels emitted dazzling rays of light, which intertwined into a strange web of light in the laboratory. Hart hesitated nervously for a moment, but in the end he slowly pressed his palm against the control lever. The next second, time seemed to be set on rewind, with the light and shadows outside the window rapidly moving backward, and the hands of the clock on the wall spinning wildly in reverse. In an instant, Hart finally returned to the night of his date with his girlfriend. At this time, there was another himself in this space-time. To avoid trouble and evade the robber, Hart took the initiative to lead Emma to the crowded streets. He thought the crisis had been averted, but just as he turned to buy a bouquet of flowers, a runaway carriage actually took Emma's life. After that, no matter how Hart adjusted his plans, Emma would always die that night in different ways. He seemed trapped in an unsolvable loop. Therefore, he decided to travel to the distant future to find a way to change the past. He started the time machine again, and everything around him began to change rapidly. The alternation of day and night was so fast it was impossible to catch. The green plants in the laboratory grew wildly, and the 4 seasons cycled in the blink of an eye. Later, people converted this place into a warehouse. Cars continuously iterated in appearance and technology, women's ideology was liberated, and the skirts of window mannequins became shorter and shorter. Witnessing all this, Hart became even more determined to save Emma. But just then, he accidentally dropped the photo pendant of his girlfriend. The moment the pendant left the time machine, it rapidly decayed. A burning pain shot through his fingertips, and Hart could only watch as the photo turned to ashes and dissipated into the river of time.